This is the area called Chindi, first mined and reclaimed to the standards of the day in 1976. Those standards meant placing topsoil, seeding grass, and for irrigation, placing drop structures to compensate for a 1% decline along a distance of more than 4,000 feet. And while the project was legal,
it was something that we could have left here. It was permitted, it was approved. The regulators allowed us to put it there and said we could keep it there, but it wasn't going to be sustainable.
drop structures also have a couple of major drawbacks. The first and biggest is ongoing inspection and maintenance.
Over time, we started noticing that there were some problems associated with them, as they just didn't want to hold up to the various storm events and things that came through here.
But worse, drop structures don't fully reclaim in a way that promotes an improved area afterwards. But another, newer technique does. That's why the company came back and rebuilt the area in 2012 using geomorphic reclamation.
The landforms are basically the same. The channels, the drainage densities are similar to the surrounding area. And that tends to work much better.
By working better, that means cultivating widespread water sources into one area, putting in new vegetation, and attracting wildlife.
Duck and geese that again normally are in our rivers adjacent to the area but don't come into this particular area unless there's water here.
To achieve the form and function of the final design, the company moved more than 300,000 cubic yards of dirt using GPS units to create the meandering stream. After the contour was completed, the company spread more than 70,000 cubic yards of topsoil for planting. The final post-mining land use is livestock grazing, made possible because of the water resources. In addition, the company has eliminated a revenue drain as well.
And it's something that we won't have to come back and continue to maintain in the future or have problems or eyesores that would come back and haunt BHP.
In 2013, the Chindi area experienced a storm that poured more than an inch of rain onto the ground in just 2 hours. While the resulting flood destroyed about 200 aluminum irrigation pipes, the company found no serious erosion in the project area, which means it worked as it was designed to. This is Indiana, one of the biggest farm states in the nation and home to rich deposits of coal. In many cases, the two are not compatible, but a practice going back several years is proving that the two industries, energy and farming, can go beyond a truce. One can help the other. The award winner is producing coal from 6 permits, totaling more than 7,000 acres. The company also accepted responsibility for reclaiming 5 other permits nearby, and that isn't all. The company is also cleaning up 75 acres of pre-law spoils on 2 different farms. The judges cited this entry because of the diversity of what is now left behind. Local farms turn out hay for livestock to both local and regional markets. The permit area also supports sawmills and veneer mills using trees from unmined areas. But the crown jewel is the reclamation of prime farmland. The company has reclaimed more than 2,500 mined acres for crop production, using standards that are higher than the minimum. The company typically segregates topsoil from the prime areas, then mines the permit. When it's time to reclaim that permit, the company returns the topsoil to the desired area, which reduces compaction. The decompacted soil has increased crop yields. Wheat farmers are producing 62 bushels an acre, in contrast with the 45 bushel average. Soybeans are producing 50 bushels instead of the 40 bushel average. The company has also built 34 lakes or ponds on site and has cooperated with local farmers on test sites to prove the reclaimed areas are producing as prime farmland. It looks like a new mine site, but in reality, much of the mining in this area goes back more than 50 years. What the company found, in addition to commercially viable coal, was more than 8 miles of unreclaimed high walls, some of them more than 90 feet high. There were dozens of unfilled impoundments and more than 70 isolated wetlands. Today, more than a third of the permitted area is already released from bond.
We've got a mine site here we've reclaimed. We're very proud of it.
Much of the left-behind high walls were close to county and state roads, farms, and some homes. To address the problem, the company began pulling out the viable coal. Then, as mining was completed, grading the walls and then later protecting the graded areas with straw. The resulting terraces stabilized the banks and also connected almost 17,000 feet of streams. That allowed the construction of more than 23 acres of wetlands. Building ponds along those streams also allowed the company to achieve the post-mining land use of pasture land and undeveloped property.
This land's productive now. We've got farmers baling hay on it. We've got cattle grazing on it. There's fences up.
At the same time, the new watery areas are attracting wildlife. To date, the company has mined about 1,200 acres of the 1,800 it has permitted for. It has reclaimed almost 850 of those acres, while another company is mining limestone nearby. And the operator says this is just the start.
This is something that the people in the future can be proud of, and it's back into production, and we're happy with it, and we hope to do more of it in the future.
The state credits the company for removing nearly all of the dangerous high walls near roadsides and says the vast majority of the bond-released acreage is already in use, mostly for hay production and grazing. People here call this the Loomis Bank, not the kind where you withdraw money, but a 70-year-old pile of waste that blocks any view from your window. And when coal below the surface is on fire, it smells and looks worse. Beyond the look and smell, this left-behind coal represents a threat to the environment. This is waste coal from a time in which mining was not nearly as efficient at separating the mineral from the dirt. And Pennsylvania has thousands of places just like this 100-acre site. For many people working at the award winner, there's a personal connection.
Growing up in the northeast Pennsylvania, it's nice to see the abandoned mine sites cleaned up and restored. When I was a kid, I used to play on these piles.
That connection led the company to discover both economic value and environmental service in the waste piles. An environmental nonprofit owns the site and wanted it cleaned up, and then to provide long-term economic benefits. The company saw value in the low BTU waste coal. It could refine the waste to a higher output and generate electricity. The site's worst location was a 7-acre tailings pond filled with almost 500,000 tons of waste, coal fines that the wind would scatter everywhere. And what the wind would not pick up, storm water would wash into the nearby watershed, leading to acid mine drainage. The pictures tell the story from 1939 to 1959 to now. Over a period of 15 years, the company removed more than 1 million tons of waste, separated the coal, and then returned rejected fill dirt back to the site to minimize runoff and create flat areas.
Today, these sites are being reclaimed, and the businesses are being developed on those reclaimed properties, bringing jobs, tax bases. It's definitely going to be a benefit for the future.
Some benefits are apparent already. By accepting liability for an abandoned mine site and abating a decades-old environmental threat, the company saved the state millions of dollars in AML funding. It made money generating electricity, and it also created a long-term solution for new business.